Long ago, on a night kissed by frost, a star blazed brilliantly across the sky before crashing down to Earth. That star held a power beyond imagination. Many sought to unlock its secrets, but just a few years ago a dark meteorite fell, unleashing thousands of terrifying monsters. It seemed the world teetered on the edge of annihilation until a force emerged to push back the apocalypse. What was this force? They were called the performers and the conductors' warriors, who wielded the power of music itself to fight, a magic so rare few remember it now. In a bustling market, a forgotten piano sat gathering dust unnoticed. Our hero Taku strolled in and decided to play determined to show a young boy what music truly means. As the melody drew a crowd, monstrous creatures known as D2 surged forward, dark beasts that haunted the world. They charged straight at Taku, but his comrade Yuki stepped up, striking one down with precise force. She donned her crimson battle suit, raised her baton, and began to conduct their fight. Taku aimed for the monster's weak spot, while Yuki unleashed her attacks with deadly focus. The battle ended abruptly, as the ceiling crashed down the strain of fighting, draining Yuki's power and pulling Taku's energy down with her. She insisted Taku was too weak, questioning when he'd be ready to reach America. Soon after, their commander Anna arrived, scolding them for causing a ruckus just 10 minutes into the mission. Yuki, ever blunt, tossed her straight into the vehicle, urging everyone to live normally, despite the chaos. Anna tried to rein in their reckless actions, reminding them America was still far away. But Taku wasn't done playing the piano. Such an intact instrument was a rare treasure. Yuki doubted she could solo against any D2, but trusted that as long as she ate enough, she could handle herself. Anna indulged Yuki's appetite, buying mountains of food just for her. Stopping at a roadside diner, Anna asked for directions to America. The owner warned them the shortcut led through a D2-infested town. Few dared to travel that way anymore. The alternative path was no better, riddled with broken roads and peril. Taku tried to play music from his device, but was stopped. Music would attract more monsters. Yuki, having just recharged, insisted on fighting their way through and offered to accompany Taku, letting him use her vision to navigate. Suddenly, an explosion knocked both Yuki and Taku unconscious. The next morning, Anna urged them to refocus on their goal, reaching America. Taku craved music. Yuki wanted to battle monsters. Anna reminded them to curb their impulsiveness. They had a mission to complete. Yuki, frustrated to tears, recounted the previous day's chaos playing with D2, the sudden blast, and being struck down by an unseen foe. They realized they needed to lure the underground monster out to move forward. Yuki hatched a plan. She returned to the old town to borrow a piano, bringing it to the battlefield so Taku could play and bait the lurking beast. D2 monsters despised music. The better the melody, the more it tormented them. Music was their only weapon against these creatures. As the concert began, the moment Taku's notes filled the air, Yuki was immediately attacked by a monster, but Taku switched gears to defend her, the battle intensifying under the haunting symphony. This was no ordinary fight. It was a dance of survival where every note struck a nerve. Every attack was a desperate plea for hope. Together, they wove music and courage into a single force, fighting not just for their lives, but for a world on the brink of silence. The battle mode activated and she summoned the beasts. Instantly, a horde of minions was called forth. One led the charge while another provided cover fire. The swarm of monsters was swiftly defeated, but she was held back by the queen herself. Suddenly, streaks of red appeared in her hair. Yet she rose again to fight, realizing this beast possessed the power to heal. Unless the black stone within it was destroyed, the battle would never end. She shifted into the sword form and charged forward, fueling her energy to keep fighting. With all her strength focused, she pierced through, successfully vanquishing the beast. Afterwards, she rested playing a song on her instrument. The next morning, the group set out to return to the past years before her powers had awakened. At that time, Tact was just a young musician, and she was still discovering her strength. Tact's father was a talented orchestra conductor, but during one performance he attracted the attention of D2 and tragically lost his life. Following this, the army banned music altogether. But Tact refused to give up. He kept practicing his music relentlessly. Meanwhile, she was the one who cleaned up the pig pen, where he practiced every week. Anna, her older sister, and their father were all related, living together through those times. Throughout those years, Tact would often play his violin at home. She wanted him to go outside and perform to share his music with others, but he refused and retreated to his room. One afternoon, she ran to tell him a travelling opera troupe was coming to town. This was his chance to perform publicly, yet he doubted if his music was powerful enough to move hearts. The next day, she secretly played Tact's piano. When he discovered this, he was surprised she could play. She revealed she often practiced in secret when he took a bath, having learned a few pieces from their mother. She urged him to seize the rare opportunity and participate, but he wouldn't listen. Then Anna arrived, noticing that she had been caught playing the piano, and also encouraged Tact to join, reminding him that soon both sisters would be moving to America. On the day of the event, she sneaked the piano to the venue and left a note at home for Tact. The army commander happened to be there too, making the host nervous. The evening came, but Tact was nowhere to be found, so she performed first to buy time. He arrived later, determined to show everyone what true music sounds like. His melody echoed through the hall, and she joined in, playing alongside him. Though the army commander noticed, he let them be moved by the rare sound of music after so long. But that very music awakened disaster. D2 appeared, wreaking havoc across the city. When Tact woke, one arm was gone, and she had fallen. He tried to call her back, but the black stone around her neck unleashed a power. A spirit emerged, linked by a rose vine binding Tact's arm to hers. That spirit took one of his arms and revived her. From that moment, they became the conductor and the performer. Fueled by rage and sorrow, they plunged into battle against D2. With nothing left to lose, they fought with every ounce of strength, quickly slaying several monsters. But their energy waned and both collapsed, surrounded by D2's minions. Just when all seemed lost, two motorcyclists arrived to save them. They helped Tact defeat the remaining monsters. When he awoke, the girl he once knew was gone. Standing before him was someone calling herself Destiny. Anna also arrived, telling him he had slept for a day. He wanted to understand what happened to her. Destiny explained that two others, Lenny and Titan, both conductor and performer, would fill him in. Lenny assured him his arm was still intact and capable of playing music. She revealed that D2 first appeared 20 years ago when a dark meteor crashed on Earth. The energy it brought birthed D2, but also its opposite. The golden meteor's power gave rise to performers and conductors to fight and contain D2's numbers. Previously, D2 was forced into hibernation, but music had once again awakened them. Tact wanted to know what became of her. Lenny said all previous performers underwent testing at a research facility, but her awakening was unique. It caused the loss of her former self. The girl he knew had truly faded, leaving only her empty body behind. Lenny added that she was unstable, capable of self-nullifying her fire weapons mid-battle, a sign she might soon disappear completely. They discussed heading to America, where the performer research headquarters was located. Anna's and Destiny's parents worked there, so they planned to bring her in hopes of saving her. Lenny wanted to accompany them to guide Tact in becoming a true conductor. As they shared a quiet moment, Tact's arm suddenly vanished. Titan rushed in with alarming news: Destiny had escaped. Alerted by nearby D2 activity, Tact quickly tracked Destiny's location. Lenny acknowledged her unusual abilities. She could detect D2 before even Titan could. Both gave chase, as it seemed Destiny no longer followed orders, but acted on instinct. She unleashed gunfire recklessly, her hair's red streaks multiplying. Tact begged her to stop, but she ignored him, wiping out a monster. More enemies arrived, but Lenny arrived just in time to assist, temporarily driving D2 away. Concerned about her condition, Lenny noticed Destiny appeared to be draining her life force to fuel her powers, despite his disapproval. Yet he was at a loss for how to help them both. The battle resumed in the forest. Titan skillfully took down monsters one by one, but Destiny spared the last beast, letting it flee. It headed straight for Anna's house. Destiny intervened just in time, kicking it away. Tact rushed over, pulling Anna to safety, giving Destiny permission to finish off the monster. The house exploded with a single shot, and he felt no regret over its loss. Then she plunged into the forest, confronting the Titans, with grace taking down one effortlessly. But when it came to the final beast, she hesitated, letting the creature flee straight toward Anna's home. Just as it aimed for her, she arrived in the nick of time, delivering a powerful kick that sent it crashing into the house. Tak rushed in to pull Anna away, allowing her the chance to finish off the monster. The house. It was engulfed in flames from a single shot, and he felt no sorrow for it. Lenny had stumbled upon a horrifying truth. After all that had transpired, one that echoed a commander's words from a decade ago, a truth he had chosen to set aside to continue onward. Tak's group too was on the move, and she longed to hear Tak play his music again, reminiscing about the treats she once enjoyed that she now craved once more. A week later, Tak meticulously guided Lenny on the nuances of leadership. Yet for her it was a struggle to control the situation. She always acted on instinct. Lenny had to step in and demonstrate, explaining how Titans could strike with such swiftness. She simplified the complexities for Lenny, stressing that music was the key to their communication. It would forge a connection between them, helping them understand each other better. Just as they pondered their next move, Lenny unexpectedly encountered an old friend, Zona, who invited them to the farm where he worked. They arrived at a vast cornfield bustling with activity, and Jonathan led the group to meet his wife, inviting them over for dinner. They soon met the owner of the land, and Lenny cleverly deceived him into believing that Tak's team were his 3 children. The man, ever the gracious host, wanted to invite them all to dine, but due to prior commitments, they had to decline. During dinner at Jonathan's house, Lenny inquired about their reasons for working there. Originally from a different place, they had been forced to seek refuge after the devastation caused by D2. Some had chosen to venture into farming, leading the couple to join them. They remained blissfully unaware that D2 was slowly resurfacing, clinging to hope for a peaceful life. An old friend, Zona the Divine, invited him to the vast cornfield farm where he worked. This sprawling farm bustled with countless workers. Jonathan led the group to meet his wife and warmly invited them to his home for a meal. They also met the farm's owner. Landy cleverly tricked the owner into believing that the group were his 3 children. The owner, showing genuine hospitality, wanted to invite them all to dine, but they had prior plans and politely declined. At Jonathan's home, during dinner, Landy grew curious about why the couple worked here. They were originally from elsewhere, but had to seek refuge because D2 devastated their homeland. Some had chosen to pioneer new lands, so the couple followed and worked here. They remained unaware that D2 was creeping back, still clinging to hope for peaceful days. That night, Tak and Lenny debated whether to reveal this truth to the couple. Lenny feared causing panic, so likely kept silent. Tak agreed, thinking telling them wouldn't help. Lenny then asked Tak about music, what it meant to him. To Lenny, music was a bridge connecting souls, a balm for pain, and a flame igniting battle spirit, a force that could heal the world. Musicians like them carried the sacred duty to bring this gift back to life. Tak soon fell asleep while Lenny and Titan visited the landowner's house. He handed over some money, expressing a wish to come play. Meanwhile, Chet sensed a tremor, uncertain if it was D2, and pierced the wall to investigate. The group found a fenced-off area, revealing a hidden playground. Chet stormed in, knocking away guards, and discovered a large casino run by the owner. Funds meant for government-led land reclamation had been embezzled to open the gambling den. Suddenly, Lenny overheard a warning about an intruder. As Tak's group fled guards, they were spotted. The owner, seeing the intruder was with Lenny, turned his wrath toward him. Deciding to stir chaos, Chet dashed through the casino's heart. Loud noises erupted, and Chet unleashed a devastating strike that flattened everything in sight. But such destruction would harm innocents, so Lenny stepped in to help and assess their true strength. After the trial, Lenny singled out one target and challenged them to control their energy to strike precisely twice. They had to give clear commands and create a harmonious duet linking their moves. Tak timed his orders perfectly, and with only 2 shots, Chet eliminated the first target. The second fight switched to swordplay, using a familiar method: strike the legs to topple the foe, then pierce the exposed weak spot. The final move combined both techniques into a unique symphony. Both fighters synchronized perfectly, swiftly dispatching their enemies. Lenny praised their performance, while the owner seized the chaos to grab cash and flee. Titan chased and caught him. The next morning, the group officially parted ways. Jonathan and his wife gifted Tak a bag of corn for the road. Landy confidently encouraged Tak. As the bullets flew, they executed a flawless 2-shot takedown. He was compelled to give precise commands, orchestrating a harmony that bound them together. Timing was everything, and when he signaled for Lenny to fire, she swiftly eliminated one Titan. The next phase involved switching to swords, employing old tactics to strike its legs, toppling it, before aiming for its exposed weak point. For the final act, they combined their previous methods to create a unique symphony of destruction, perfectly in sync, dispatching their foe with ease. Lenny praised their recent performance, while the owner seized the chaos as an opportunity to abscond with money, only to be pursued and captured by the Titan. The following morning marked a bittersweet farewell, as Tak and his team received a bag of corn for their journey gifted by the Jonathan and his wife. Lenny felt empowered by Tak's newfound skills, believing he could take the lead and one day become a great conductor just like his father. With heartfelt goodbyes exchanged, Lenny had previously instructed Tak to gather every last book from the local lord before they set off once more. Sometime later, a conductor named Shin received reports about a new duo of commanders and performers who had emerged recently unregistered. To verify, Shin decided to meet them, meeting up with both of them. Anna's car suddenly got a flat tire, forcing her to stop on the road to fix it. Struggling, she managed to remove the wheel and insisted on fitting the new one herself. But since she's only ever known music, everything else felt like a foreign language, like a clumsy rookie. Her efforts caused the whole car to collapse again. Then, sensing the approaching danger of the D2, she dashed off, and with a single shot and a swift sword strike, she took it down. But just then, a train was barreling straight toward where she stood. The train screeched to a halt just in time, and a mysterious performer appeared, threatening Anna. Yet the conductor Shin arrived as well, urging her to retreat while wanting to ask a few questions. He even offered them a ride since they shared the same destination. Shin revealed that the train was transporting a captured black meteorite back to headquarters, explaining the tension in the air. When Anna looked at the spread of food laid out, she immediately felt at ease. Not wanting to make things difficult, Anna allowed them all to rest, though Shin pressed for more information during their journey. They were escorted to a room where a girl named Vasiri strictly forbade them from stepping outside. Tak bristled at her rude demeanor and snapped back, only for Anna to suddenly sense D2 nearby. Instantly, both she and Tak transformed, breaking through walls and climbing atop the train. Anna fired relentlessly, fending off any creatures that dared approach. Kiri joined the fight, but the commander believed they'd acted without permission. Tak insisted more allies were needed and wanted Anna to call for another performer to join them. Anna went up, but Vasiri dismissed the need. Suddenly, an enemy appeared behind Tak, and Anna swiftly shot them down. As arguments flared, Anna lost control of her power. The train came to a sudden halt. Tracks ahead had snapped. Repair crews arrived, announcing it would take at least a full day to fix. Tak and Anna continued their bickering, while Vasiri showed visible annoyance toward both. Shin's performers arrived, informing Tak that Vasiri hadn't bonded with any commander yet. If he could win her responsible heart, she might join their team. Tak brushed it off, which only made Vasiri more intrigued. Anna listened as Shin recounted their tale, suspecting Anna had followed to keep an eye on Tak. Despite her attempts to explain, it was futile. That afternoon, as repairs neared completion, a swarm of D2 descended once again in overwhelming numbers. Anna and Vasiri rushed into battle, but the sheer volume drained Tak's energy quickly, and Kiri suffered the same fate. Without a commander to channel energy, Tak devised a plan. He urged Anna to shoot exactly where he directed. Anna fired, following Tak's guidance, but his strength waned, leaving him unable to stand. Vasiri stepped forward to shield him. Anna finished shooting, causing a cliff to collapse, trapping their foes. A few escaped, only to be swiftly dealt with by Anna. Kiri was astonished by Tak's strategy. Only then did they properly introduce themselves, with Kiri teasing Vasiri about her name, causing her to blush deeply. But the tremors continued. A giant D2 emerged, and Shin's performer, tired of sitting out, requested to join the fight. Granted permission, she transformed into a wheel and charged directly at the massive D2, vanquishing it with just 2 kicks. The train then diverted from its original path, no longer heading to the initial destination. Kiri was dismissed since his duties ended. Shin approached Tak, offering him a place on their team, but Tak bluntly declined, disliking their group's dynamic. They climbed back into the vehicle, leaving Shin visibly annoyed, but remembering Tak's name, eager for a future rematch. That evening, Anna planned for the night, but her companions had fallen asleep, leaving her annoyed and awake. Days later, they arrived at an American territory, where Anna sensed no D2 presence, allowing them to relax and shop. Tak found the place dull, too quiet and deserted. Anna's awareness grew, understanding Tak's silly jokes and even teasing him back for showing no growth since leaving home. They stopped outside a convenience store, but Tak hesitated to enter, fearing the hassle of carrying bags. The shopkeeper, an elderly man, welcomed them warmly, grateful for the youth's visit to his once lively, now aged town. Just as he reached to help them, his back gave out, and a regular customer's call forced the two girls to deliver goods for him. At one stop, an elderly woman called for help, needing a doctor for the shopkeeper. Grateful, she gifted Anna a jar of homemade jam. Before they could react, the wooden floor beneath Anna cracked, prompting her to fix it immediately. Anna tried once more, but only worsened it, requiring a full replacement. Meanwhile, Tak's mind drifted back to the day his father was attacked by D2 and saved by a pair of performers. Chasing memories, he found himself in a bar filled with music lovers. There he discovered his father's songs and requested them to be played. Tak had long believed everyone despised his father after that accident, thinking people would no longer listen to music. But they didn't hate him. They saw it as a tragic accident. They spoke passionately about music as a grand art his father sacrificed his life to share. They were amazed a young man like Tak understood the music cherished by older generations. Tak revealed the musician they revered was his own father. Meanwhile, the two girls on their way back were mistaken by an old woman for her daughter and pulled inside for tea. Anna tried to explain, but the woman wouldn't hear it, treating her like a woman from an era when women had no voice. Later, the old man returned home to find his wife acting strangely confused about the mistaken identity. Tak was then escorted by some local men to a performance room, a place where they and his father had once performed, recalling that unforgettable day. The shop owner was genuinely happy. It's been a long time since young souls like Anna and Shin graced this place. This town had slowly aged, leaving mostly the elderly behind. As he reached to get something for them, his back suddenly gave out. A call from a regular customer interrupted, so the two girls stepped up to deliver in his stead. At another house, an elderly lady called for a doctor to tend to the shop owner. Grateful, she gifted them homemade pickles as thanks and welcomed them warmly. Before they could respond, the wooden floor beneath Anna suddenly gave way. She took it upon herself to repair it for the old lady. Shin tried fixing it too, but one attempt revealed the plank needed replacing once again. Meanwhile, unexpectedly, Shin was flooded with memories of the day his father was attacked by the D2. Rescued by a pair of performers, he rushed to find the two girls and stumbled upon a lively bar where music thrived. There, he discovered his father's compositions and ordered a song to be played. Shin always believed people resented his father because of that accident, which left him unable to hear music. But here, no one hated him. Instead, they saw it as a tragic accident and spoke candidly about music's grandeur, a passion his father risked his very life to share with the world. They were amazed that such a young boy already understood the music their generation cherished deeply. Shin revealed that the musician they admired was, in fact, his father. Meanwhile, as the two girls headed home, a kindly old woman mistook them for her daughters and pulled them inside for tea. Anna tried to explain, but the woman wouldn't listen, her stubbornness echoing the silence women once endured. Later, the old man returned home, sensing something was off after the mistaken identity. Back with Shin, some older gentlemen guided him to a performance room, the very place where they once performed with his father. The memories of that day were vivid and unforgettable. Together, they settled in to watch the next generation of conductors perform the one they had revered in the past. Excitement hung thick in the air, and as the music began, it felt as if time rewound to those precious moments. Anna was later comforted by the old man, who explained how the wife refused to accept their daughter's passing. He also thanked Anna for spending time with the woman. Shin had a meaningful conversation with the old lady, who offered advice on how to support someone like Shin, someone seemingly useless yet whose music burned fiercely within. Afterwards, as they prepared to leave, Anna noticed Shin was still at the bar. They both joined in to listen to the rest of his performance. The older men expressed their gratitude for helping them relive the music of Shin's father once more. The next morning, the trio resumed their journey. Shin received a music sheet from the gentleman as a parting gift. Meanwhile, the military commander caught wind that the prodigal son of the great conductor was still alive and had risen to become a leader. Elated, he sought to meet Shin to recruit him following in his father's footsteps. The group arrived at a new town, seemingly recently attacked by the D2. Shin's persistent knocking annoyed Anna. Frustrated by his sleepless day, spent crafting music ideas. The military commander called Shin, warning him to keep his distance from Shin, seeing him as a dangerous asset needing control. Yet the commander believed Shin was a rare genius with the potential to surpass even Shin's own legacy. Listening to his father's music once more, the next morning the trio sets off again. Tuck receives a sheet of music from the older men. Meanwhile, the military commander hears that the son of the brilliant conductor is still alive and has become a commander himself. Elated, he decides to meet Shin to gather more information and possibly recruit Tuck just like his father once was. Tuck's group has arrived at a new town recently attacked by D2. Tuck keeps knocking persistently, wearing Anna down. He hasn't slept all day, desperate for a spark to compose new music. At this moment, the military commander summons Shin and orders him to stay away from Tuck, seeing him as a dangerous loose cannon. But the commander believes Tuck is a rare talent destined to even surpass Shin himself. Frustrated, Shin punches his locker repeatedly, convinced Tuck is nothing but trash beneath a true prodigy's feet. Meanwhile, Tuck's group is trapped as D2 attacks nearby, forcing townsfolk to flee. A police officer, moved by the desperate scene of people abandoning their homes, wishes he could fight back with a gun. Hearing this, Anna volunteers to take his place. Back at the inn, Tuck remains dazed and unfocused, barely hearing Anna's words until she snaps his neck to jolt him awake. Both want Tuck to open up, and he finally shares some music sheets explaining he's trying to compose a song. Anna feels this is a good start, even if it's his very first attempt. That night, Tuck scribbles down whatever comes to mind, but nothing feels right. Anna, wanting to help, searches around and finds a musical instrument for Tuck. "Is this a flute?" she asks. Tuck accepts it, thinking better to have something than nothing. The next morning, Tuck resumes composing, but is startled when Anna suddenly transforms, causing him to fall over. Returning home, he scolds her for fighting without warning. She argues that Tuck's focus is so fragile, calling him would only slow her down. Confident she can handle things herself, she insists he stay behind. Soon after, she rushes off for an important meeting. Tuck tries to write again, but hits a wall, so he takes a walk before returning to his work. By chance, he spots Anna out shopping and decides to follow her. She buys gifts for a young mother and child, showing a deeper understanding of life and care that surprises Tuck. Anna trails after him too, revealing that her own changes come from hearing Tuck's music. She's been cheering him on passionately, even borrowing the flute last night so he wouldn't be distracted by trivial things, urging him to focus on what truly matters. Witnessing Anna's transformation makes Anna wonder if the girl before her is still the same Anna from before. Meanwhile, Lendi receives a call from someone and sets out planning to meet up with Tuck's group soon. The next morning, Tuck searches for Anna, noticing she and Anna no longer walk together. Anna has stopped calling her by name, their distance growing. Curious about who Anna once was, since the three seemed close, before she wants to understand what Anna means to both of them. Tuck stays silent, returning to his composing. Suddenly D2 appears. The two spring into action, chasing down and wiping out the attackers. The remaining D2 are spotted near the mountain, so they head there to finish the fight. Tuck looks weary, his sleepless nights catching up, but they push on. As they approach, they hear music playing, drawing a crowd of D2. Upon arrival, the two reunite with their allies, ready to face whatever comes next. It turns out that the one controlling the D2 horde is Heo, a puppeteer, pulling all their strings. He reveals that his power can lure the D2 and even awaken those deep in slumber. Instantly, Tak realizes the relentless D2 attacks are all orchestrated by this madman. Heo's twisted plan to cull the population hoarding resources only for those he deems worthy himself and his commanders. He fancies himself a hero, but to Tak, he's nothing but a lunatic. Heo confesses to being the one behind the death of Cosette's family and the destruction of Tak's hometown. Consumed by hatred and blind fury, Tak lunges forward only to be sent flying by Heo's brutal punch. But then Tak is stunned by Cosette's swift intervention. She steps in to hold him back, insisting they both retreat. Yet Tak pushes onward, and in her effort to protect him, Cosette is struck, leaving Tak wounded and unable to move. She carries him away in desperation. Meanwhile, Anna, frantic with worry for her siblings, tries to flee into the forest, but is stopped by the guards. Just then, Lenny and Titan arrive. Seeing Anna's expression, they realize they've come too late. Cosette hides Tak in a cave, unsure how to treat his fevered wounds. Heo and Shin retreat as rain begins to fall. Heo, impatient and hating music, waits for his chance to reshape the world in his image, dreaming of his name etched in history. Back with Tak and Cosette, she stays by his side until nightfall, when he finally wakes. Confused why Cosette suddenly flees, he learns her fight is fueled by fear of losing Tak and never hearing him play again. Tak himself has lost all passion for composing, without her as his muse. He tells her that she was the light guiding him out of his darkness, when he thought music could never reach anyone. Those he believed abandoned music were actually holding it alive. He is not alone in this world. Cosette urges Tak to keep composing, reminding him there are still people who want to hear his music. At that moment, Anna overhears the situation from Lenny. Titan is already confronting the D2 and Lenny prepares to leave. Anna wants to join, but Lenny insists she wait, promising to bring Destiny back safely. Though the names differ, they still call Cosette Destiny for convenience. The next morning, the rain has cleared. Cosette goes alone to find Tak ready to fight. Tak wakes and quickly grasps the situation, rushing to her aid. Without the power of a puppeteer, Cosette is like a knife facing a gun. Tak arrives just in time to prevent her from being strangled. The two clash over their arrival, but Tak, stung by her ignoring him, nearly snaps. Lenny arrives, buying time for them to settle their differences. For the first time, Tak calls her by her real name. Cosette wants to hear Tak's music. They reconcile and return to battle. Heo watches amused that Cosette is finally taking the fight seriously. She lands a massive strike on Heo, injuring his arm, which only excites him more. Suddenly, another puppeteer named Haivan arrives, an ally of the military commander bearing orders. Because Cosette defied instructions by engaging Tak, she's stripped of her puppeteer status and severed from the organization. Heo was never truly a puppeteer, but a mere accomplice to Shin. Now she's recalled and taken away. Shin nearly loses his mind, realizing he was never a true maestro. Lady is forced to keep the entire incident secret. Later, Tak and Cosette reunite with Anna, who decides to call Cosette by her real name, Destiny. But, for simplicity, we keep calling her Cosette. Tak resolves to move forward, no longer haunted by memories of Cosette. Lenny departs, hearing news that Shin has been imprisoned for his madness. The group soon arrives at New York City's capital, safeguarded and untouched by destruction. Yet music is absent here. Anna reunites with her sister and parents. Anna's sister has finished setting up a facility to help adjust Cosette's powers. Previously, Landy had warned that using her strength drains Tak's life force, and they hope this treatment can prevent that, though nothing is guaranteed yet. At the facility, Cosette obediently undergoes tests and insists on investigating the strange condition affecting Tak's arm. Anna examines it and is shocked the deterioration is beyond description. But this was Tak's choice, and he feels no regret. Both Tak and Cosette are thoroughly checked. Anna's sister concludes that severing their life link is currently impossible. Their bond means Cosette drains Tak's life to fuel her power, but Tak gains strength, enabling him to intervene in puppeteer battles. However, the more they fight, the more they sap each other's life force, inching toward collapse. The only way to prolong their lives is to stop fighting altogether, a heartbreaking decision for both. The next morning, Cosette and Anna drag Tak out of his room to explore New York. Tak is reluctant, focused on composing music, but Cosette insists. They go out to eat and shop. Tak carries the bags, but he's happy to share these moments of joy. They visit an aquarium where Anna and her sister hatch a plan to let Tak and Cosette have some time alone. The sisters leave, while Tak and Cosette stroll through a park. They witness people still honouring a famous composer. Even without music, many wait for its return, believing nothing can steal it away unless they give up. Anna's sister decides to hand over responsibility for the two younger siblings to Anna, trusting her care. The sisters agree to see Destiny, Cosette's past self, as their little sister. Tak and Cosette go to a grassy field where Tak recalls the concert's past events. They discuss whether to continue fighting. Despite the risks, both choose to press on and wipe out the D2, dreaming of hearing music echo worldwide once more. On their way back, Cosette hears a familiar noise, knowing if left unchecked, the D2 will return again. Tak rushes home as Lenny calls, urging Anna and her family to evacuate and seek refuge. Tak realizes someone is rallying the D2 for another assault. This moment is a poignant reminder, even in shattered worlds, the fight for hope through music and love never truly ends. If you've ever felt powerless, like Tak, remember, sometimes the smallest light can guide us through the darkest storms. At the aquarium, Anna and her older sister hatched a plan, deciding to let the two girls spend time together. The sisters eventually left while Shin and Anna took a stroll through the park. They saw how deeply people still mourned a famous musician. Though the music had ceased, hope lingered. No one was willing to let go as long as their hearts still beat. The two sisters made their decision to rest, entrusting the younger siblings in their care. They also agreed to watch Destiny, just as Shin and Anna had before, since she was still their little sister. Shin and Anna shared a quiet moment on the grass, reflecting on past events, especially the concert from before. They questioned whether to keep fighting or give up, but both resolved to continue battling, determined to wipe out the D2, and once again hear music echo across the world. On their way back, Anna heard a familiar sound, a warning that if left unchecked, the D2 would return. Rushing home, Shin received a call from Lendy, urging him to evacuate Anna's family for safety, revealing someone was summoning the D2. Though Shin knew of the threat, Lendy insisted on moving the family, unwilling to lose anyone else dear. His words sounded like a farewell. Shin pressed him to stop beating around the bush and tell the truth. Though Lendy wanted to keep Shin out of it, Shin was ready. He needed to know everything, especially since it concerned him and his father's old accident. Lendy once watched Shin's father perform, seeing him as a guiding light in life. He hoped to become someone's light someday too. They agreed to meet near a bridge to prepare for what's to come. But just then, the military commander, Sagan, arrived, wanting to listen in. Sagan urged Lendy to maintain their friendship, as if nothing had changed, keeping their past bond intact. Despite the looming storm, these intertwined fates of music, war, and family were about to collide. The question now loomed in the face of darkness. Would Shin embrace his destiny as his father's legacy, or forge a new path amid chaos? Lenny knew deep down that things wouldn't be that simple. He realized negotiation was off the table. So Sagan summoned Hyo and Heivan to the battlefield. Tok and Lenny quickly jumped into action, ready to fight. Lenny wanted to test the bond between master and student. Hearing this, Sagan recognized Lenny's desperate attempt to atone for a past mistake, because he was there when it happened. Years ago, Landy had taken Tok's father as his mentor and learned music from him. But as the D2 disaster loomed, Lenny begged his father not to hold the concert. His father wanted music to chase away the darkness in people's hearts. Then tragedy struck. Lenny was powerless to save anyone that day. Sagan found him afterward and helped him become a Titan commander. Titan became a beacon of hope, always smiling and willing to laugh in Lenny's place. When the battle paused and D2 entered hibernation, Lenny began searching for Sagan's secrets. Back in the present, fighting Hyo and Heivan was tough. Before, Hyo was just playing around, but now she was serious. Tok felt the same, only now could he fight with everything he had. Tok unleashed his full power, shattering Heivan's umbrella weapon with a single blast. But just after that, Tok was utterly exhausted, his body corroded beyond repair. Hyo was held back by Titan, but Heivan aimed her gun at Tok, forcing Lenny to shield his student. Lenny decided to unleash his full strength alongside Titan. Titan fought fiercely, taking on two enemies, but Landy couldn't hold out and collapsed. At that critical moment, too, Lenny showed Sagan what true light really means. Titan unleashed a devastating strike on Hyo, and Heivan stepping in to protect Lenny, despite severe wounds. Sagan was forced to retreat, hoping Tok's concert would be even grander next time. We don't fully understand why Lenny acted so recklessly, but he had once tried to apologize to Tok, and seeing his pain, he vowed to create a world where Tok could play music straight from his heart. When Lenny heard about Tok composing new music, with a part written for him, he felt at peace, able to close his eyes confidently and see his father's face on the other side. After the recent battle, Tok's time was running out, so Anna's older sister wanted to put both Anna and Tok into cryosleep to buy more time. The siblings wanted to discuss carefully with Tok before making a final decision. But meanwhile, Sagan chose to become a living weapon, enhancing himself with the power of the black meteor, spreading it far and spawning more D2 monsters. The next morning, Tok received news from Carzette that Anna and her sister were still trapped inside the facility, now nothing more than a nest of D2. Other performers were fighting relentlessly against the ever-growing swarm of D2. Born endlessly into the chaos, Anna and her older sister find themselves lost within the headquarters, trapped with no escape, as the black meteors block their path. D2's next attack time remains a mystery, shrouding them in darkness and uncertainty. Meanwhile, Kosei is guided by Titan through a direct passage to the core. Titan urges both of them to find the sisters and escape, while promising to handle Sagan alone. But neither Kose nor Titan want to abandon their unfinished mission or their revered teacher. Determined, the trio pushes forward, only to be immediately greeted by a swarm of D2 monsters. With no time to waste, Kosa sacrifices her own life energy to unleash a powerful blast. At that critical moment, Anna and her sister are cornered by D2, but Vasiri arrives just in time to save them. Kiri, pouring every ounce of strength into protecting the sisters, faces off against a massive foe. Luckily, Taku's team arrives just in time. Following Taku's command, the three girls swiftly bring down the D2 threat. Seeing Taku's worsening condition, Vasiri's worry deepens. She wants to leave him behind. This battle is not his burden to bear, but Taku refuses to give up. He allows Titan to knock him out, insisting Titan escort the sisters out safely. Understanding his resolve, Kose promises she'll return once the mission is complete. Anna, desperate to save Taku, follows Kose, waiting for her sister to find a cure. But time slips away, there's no room for hesitation. Taku's biggest goal is crystal clear: protect the music born from the people around him. His music is not just sound, it's a lifeline woven from their souls. Anna rushes to kiss Taku, begging Kosa to promise to bring him back. Though battered and bruised, as long as he breathes, there's hope to save them both. Fueled by this desperate hope, they press deeper into the enemy's lair, confronting dozens of D2 monsters alongside Heo and Havan. Knowing Sagan lies ahead, they refuse to stop. Heo and Haven unleash forbidden magic, merging into a formidable new entity, Ofut, though stronger. Kose feels this fusion suits one-on-one combat perfectly. Both strike out with all their strength from the outset. Kose tries to close in, but is met with a hail of mini-bombs from Ofut, who instantly regenerates any damage dealt. Half-hearted attacks mean certain defeat, so Taku decides on relentless assault, no chance for their foe to recover or delivering a single crushing blow. Kose steps forward, drawing Ofut's attention. Meanwhile, Taku joins the fray, pulling focus away so Kose can craft her explosive shot. With precision, she fires, obliterating half of Ofut's upper body. Yet the enemy's regeneration persists. Seizing this moment, Taku pushes to find Sagan first. Believing this is their only chance, Taku charges ahead, leaving Kose to finish the fight behind him. They both commit fully to a deadly battle. In the heat of combat, we glimpse Sagan's past. The so-called villain once stood bravely alongside soldiers, fighting valiantly against D2. Yet, despite their courage and resilience, destruction was inevitable. Humanity's sound was lost. Haunted by the mournful echoes of fallen souls, everything changed when Sagan touched the black meteor. In that instant, his torment vanished as he grasped a chilling truth. Chaos would free humanity from pain forever. Now, face to face, Taku confronts Sagan, condemning his rejection of music. For it is music's power that terrifies the D2, driving their relentless eradication efforts. Taku vows that music will never fade away. Kose soon arrives to back him up, helping finish the unfinished fight. Sagan falls, defeated, his tragic comedy reaching its bitter finale. The black meteor's influence dims, and the D2 born from it begin to vanish. Exhausted, Taku and Kose rest by the sea. Taku shares a newly composed melody with her before deciding to sleep, awaiting Titan's rescue team. Kose makes a life-changing decision to save Taku. She kisses him goodbye and disappears, no longer draining his life force. The rescue team swiftly arrives to take Taku for urgent medical care. In his hand, he holds a keepsake left by Kose, a symbol of hope. Months pass as Taku continues treatment. Anna chooses a new path, joining the organization and rising to become its commander. She dreams of forging a world where Taku can freely play his music upon waking, and so this epic journey finds its close, not with an end, but a promise of new beginnings. If you've ever felt the weight of protecting what you love or the sting of sacrifice, this story reminds us sometimes. The greatest strength lies in the music we share and the bonds that refuse to break. Thanks for joining me on this emotional voyage.